found it really hard to write female characters, and you seem to do it very, very well. What is the easiest and the hardest thing to do? To me, they always come out very complicated.
Complicated is fun.
But I don't know, creature thingies are more fun to write.
Why not write a female creature thingy that turns into a female human? Or a female human turns into who makes friends with the male or female creature thingy, and they can compare notes on each other's lives. Female characters are people.
But a creature thing's not.
No, the creature thing is a people too. It's you just write them, and then look at what they are when you're done, and see if they're too complicated or if you're just worried that they ought to be simpler. Does that make sense? In other words, go with your gut.
Okay.
Just listen to your gut and do what it says, and maybe you're not, maybe complicated is good. And if you think they're too complicated when you're done, go back and edit. Editing is also good. But women are just, we're complicated or simple according to our natures. We're not all the same. Same with guys. Where they're complicated or there's a sliding scale for all of us. Creatures too. I mean, on the one side I've got Lummy, who is a very stupid cat. And on the other side I've got Brûlée, who hid the fact that she was even interested in affection for 2 or 3 years. And now she lets me pick her up and cuddle her by her ear and scratch her belly while she purrs in my ears, and all of a sudden she says, no, I don't like you, put me down immediately. Everything is varied. That's the fun of it.
Base it on also, as Tammy said earlier, base it on people that interest you. People you know, like you're saying, if you've got like a character you like or a particular actor you like, start from there and extrapolate freely.
And if it's somebody you know, don't tell them.
Really?
Change something about them so they don't recognize themselves if you do it from someone close to you. Really, don't tell them. Even if they come and say, I know that's me. If you're bad at it like me, practice in a mirror. Trust me. You'll thank me.
Mm-hmm.
I was wondering how you developed your magic system.
Magic, there's this guy named Scott Cunningham who wrote for Llewellyn back in the 70s and early 80s. And he did a number of how-to books, Earth Magic, Kitchen Magic, an encyclopedia of herbs and herbalism, gemstone and crystal magic. And I use those because, for one thing, Cunningham not only did Wiccan magic, but he brought in stuff from Native American magic, Oriental magic, Egyptian magic. So you get to see a number of different ways that the stone or the herb is being used. And also he was an incredibly responsible writer about magic. It's because of Scott Cunningham that I no longer wear pearls or, in fact, any manner of seashell, because he pointed out that something gave up its life to give you that pearl, and if you use a pearl in a spell, you should thank the creature that died so you could have that. I'm not saying everybody should do it that way, I just thought it was such a radical idea to me when I read it, And he's very principled. He teaches you not to do dangerous things that would affect your own spirit as well as anybody else's. So I take Cunningham's stuff and then I build on that. One good rule for magic, for anyone who wants to be responsible, and I do remember, because this is what I did as a kid, is people will try the stuff you have. Use limits. Make sure your person puts protective circles around what they do and does not try to do vile things unless they die horribly in the doing. Because somebody is reading it and thinking, what will happen if I try that? Does that help?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You mentioned editing a while back, and I just wanted to know your process on that.
For a long time, what I would do was I would read what I did the day before to get me into what I was doing, and then I would then I would write my page count for that day. Toward the end, I would print out the manuscript and go through it by hand and correct that way, because you catch things by hand that you miss on the screen or on the typewriter. And then if I had time, and I did try to have time, I would then go over it and read it aloud and correct things, because you also catch things that you would miss on the screen and on the page. And all of that would be one draft for me. These days, I am writing partners with Bruce Koval. Jeremy Thatcher, Dragon Hatcher, Into the Land of the Unicorns. Okay, I'm seeing enough noddage here. So we read 5 pages a day to each other when we're both home, and we give each other notes, and then we incorporate those, and usually we do our own changes while we're reading, and then as we're putting in the notes we took, and that's a draft.
Okay. So what about like content edits, like when you decide that your character is too complex and you need to like simplify them? How do you do that?
I back up and I find where the complexity began, and I pull it out by the roots and throw it on the compost heap of life. Actually, what I do is I put it in a scrap file and keep it in case I want it later. Hopefully I do this before I've gotten too far. If Bruce hasn't spotted it, I hope I do. Otherwise, I may just leave it for the editor to catch, or if the editor doesn't catch it, I'll get it in the second draft. But